The dark side of progress. Think of World War I as the moment when the world realized that all our cool inventions, like cars turned into tanks and planes, could do terrible stuff. These weren't just toys, they could be weapons that caused a lot of harm. Imagine gases that could hurt or kill you without even seeing them. That's what chemical warfare with tools like mustard gas did. It was a wake-up call. Hey, maybe all this progress isn't just good. Physics that made us question. Albert Einstein comes along and says, guess what? Time and space are more like a cosmic dance than a straight line. His big idea, E equals mc squared, shows us that energy and mass are two sides of the same coin. This blew open the door to how the sun works, and later on, how to make atomic bombs. Werner Heisenberg throws in a curveball with his uncertainty principle, which says, you can't know everything about a tiny particle's speed and where it is at the same time. It's like trying to watch a bee in your garden. You can't predict every zig or zag it makes. Erwin Schrödinger talks about a cat in a box that's both there and not there until you look. Don't worry, no real cats were used. It's a weird way to say particles can be in a bunch of states at once, until we check on them. Enrico Fermi builds the first nuclear reactor, which is step one towards use of atomic energy for power or bombs. Niels Bohr digs into how atoms work, explaining that electrons have their own lanes around the nucleus but can jump lanes, a key part of quantum mechanics. The Lost Generation. After the horrors of war, writers like Ernest Hemingway and Eric Maria Remarque put their feelings into words, showing the pain and confusion of coming back to a world that didn't make sense anymore. They were part of the Lost Generation, young folks who felt betrayed by the promises of the old world after war. Women on the move. Meanwhile, women were showing that they could do just as much as men, working jobs left empty by soldiers and fighting for their right to vote. Emmeline Pankhurst in the UK was like, if men make wars, women should vote too, and became a big voice for change. Rosie the Riveter was the poster girl for women rolling up their sleeves and keeping factories going during World War II, proving that women can handle anything. So what's the big deal? The early 20th century shook up how we saw the world and ourselves. From Einstein to Rosie the Riveter, it was a time of big questions and even bigger changes. We learned that progress has two sides, that the universe is stranger than we thought, and that everyone, regardless of gender, has a part to play to shape the future. It was a period that challenged old beliefs and made way for new ones, and reminded us that change is one of the few constants in our history. How can we do that now? Tell us in the comments, share to see what your friends think, like the video, and subscribe for more.